Live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, where our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage you in an effort to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, I want you to pull out your smartphone, save our Consumer Advocate hotline number in your phone. It's 813-917-1894.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-917-1894. Don't forget our number. We want you to bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. Plethora of information available for you there. You can see links to all of our expert contributors, the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region of Florida that we've assembled and we vetted and we bring on the air to help you win in any marketplace. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show is for you. We want to help you win. And this segment is brought to you by Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora, our official hotel partner in St. Pete Beach. It's the first new hotel built on St. Pete Beach in decades. Spanish ancestry meets cool Mediterranean attitude. Whitewashed Mediterranean palace with expansive luxury suites with balconies overlooking the intercoastal waterway and a rooftop yoga on the weekends. And if you're a boater like me, I like enjoying the waterways out there with Freedom Boat Club on the weekends. You can dock right up there at the hotel, enjoy the pool, the hot tub, and also the Castile restaurant is great. Excellent food there as well. Let's go around the horn now and make our introductions. Back in studio, my friend, Mr. Bob Henriquez. He's the Hillsborough County Property Appraiser. Welcome back in, Bob.
Thanks, Brendan. It's always a pleasure to be here. It's great to see you. You're
Yes,
looking
sir.
so fit now that you're all engaged and happy. So it's
Yeah.
great to be here.
That's right. Yes, sir. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Absolutely. We're going to educate a little bit talk about the portability and talk about some of these different
Yeah,
assessed
we just had our sort of soft deadline for homestead exemptions just went by, and so we can talk a little bit about that and how people can file late filed exemption applications and all kinds of good stuff here today. So
Perfect.
whatever you want to chat about that we deal with, we'll be glad to.
I'm sure we'll touch on little football at some point.
It never fails, right? We're missing it at this point.
That's right, yeah. Also in studio, expert contributor, mortgage professional, VP of Integrity Financial Services, Mark Spence. Welcome back.
Thanks a lot, Brandon. I look forward to being here again and talking a little bit more about the industry. I tell you, there's some changes, good changes, especially with some deregulation I think you're going to see soon, and some new products that are coming to the market every day. So buyers out there definitely are going to have more opportunity to purchase.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot of great programs out there, a lot of awesome things happening about real estate values here in Tampa Bay. We're going to hear more from Bob about that, and his office is kind of overseeing that type of thing. And I got a hot listing I want to let you know about. As you know, I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty as well, and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. And I've got 84 acres prime land here, 2606 North Valrico Road out in Seffner. And it's a great opportunity for development. 84 acres, it's wooded, it's got zoned for some planned development use. It's $1.79 million, a great buying opportunity. Also, just around the corner from that, out in East County as well, 11515 East Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. I've got another just over an acre parcel right on the prime land there, and it's a 6-lane highway out there. It's great development opportunities here in beautiful Tampa Bay.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit of personal development right now. We always kick off our show with a little personal development, helping our consumers, our business owners, entrepreneurs out there. As you know, I'm a published author as well as a professional speaker. So if you're looking for an MC for your event or any kind of speaking engagements, we would love to help you with that. We got a couple cool things coming up as well. But become the MVP by surfing the radio waves. This is our latest book that we've just released a little while back, and we'd love for you to check it out on Amazon.com. Become the MVP in your industry by surfing the radio waves on Amazon now. So what we do is we're talking about, when we think about in life, we have three main influences in life. What are these influences and how are they affecting you, your success, your prosperity, your relationships? And the bottom line is you're 100% responsible for your behaviors, your actions, your habits. And it's like thinking about, drinking in muddy water. If you're drinking in muddy water into your life, it's going to cause a lot of issues, a lot of problems, and there's strategies of success. What you want to do is focus on strategies of success. So number one is the inputs. What are you feeding into your brain on a daily basis? What kind of books are you reading? What kind of TV sitcoms are you listening to, watching, and those types of things? So the number one is the inputs. Our brain is a survival mechanism, so it's naturally going to seek out for those things like limited resources. It's naturally going to seek out the sensationalism that the news puts out there. So it's up to you to defend what you put into your mind. Stand guard of the gate of your mind, as one of my favorites, Joel Osteen, talks about. And then number two is your associations. Who are you associating with? What type of influencing? Who are you allowing to influence you on a daily basis? Harvard study, psychologist Dr. David McClain, Harvard, says your reference groups determines up to 95% of your success or failure in life. I think we've all heard the saying, birds of a feather flock together, those types of sayings. But it really breaks down, and one of my favorites, Jim Rohn, says you become the combined average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. I think we've all heard that. So who is in your circle of 5? Who are you looking up to? Who are you spending time with? And how are they affecting your daily decisions and your habits? And then number 3 is your environment. And that's pretty self-explanatory. What environment are you in? And it's easy to change your environment. You can change it by accessing podcasts. You can go on podcasts and listen to different podcasts. You can go to meetup groups. You can go to Toastmasters group, different types of networking groups, and get a new group of friends or new group of peers that you're going to be able to draw from, and you're going to be able to grow and challenge yourself. And it's all about making those small incremental changes daily that we talk about. If you add those up, we talked about the 1,000% from Brian Tracy's book, how you can take these small steps every day, small improvements over time are going to equal major success in your life. So that's the Quarterback Audible for today. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. We got Bob Henriquez here in studio, Hillsborough County property appraiser. A lot of things out there. Tampa Bay is on fire. I just read a great article about Jeff Fennick and some of the stuff he's doing downtown.
Right.
Where do we begin?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, we've had this sustained period over the last I wish I could take all the credit for it, but since I came into office, this is my 2nd term now, so I'm going on my 5th year. But we've had good times. Obviously, the market's steadily improved. We've seen anything everywhere between 6.5% and 8.5% or 9% in terms of property values going up each year, and it seems to be continuing. So we're obviously very busy in our office and ready and willing to help folks in any way that we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's explain a little bit about when somebody moves, the portability of you have the portability of that. And I know Mark has a question for you too, as well. Mark, you want to go ahead and bring in that question that you had? Because Mark's doing a lot of refinances, a lot of purchase financing. And
he said he was going to stump the appraiser today.
There you go. Let's see if we can do it.
The issue that we're seeing a lot these days is in some areas, pockets, where we're doing full-blown appraisals on properties, and we look at tax assessed value. The consumer is looking at tax assessed value, and they're also comparing it to what the value that we get is, and it's not coming in. It's coming in lower than, in some cases, the tax assessed value. So consumers are kind of asking the question, how is that possible? And we're just trying to figure out, is there a way, if it is true and it is accurate, is there a way to appeal that process?
Yeah, I'm not sure that happens very much, if at all, in our county.
Right.
I've heard that in some others. You'd mentioned Pinellas County. They have a new property appraiser over there, so seems like a very nice guy, but you probably addressed that with him. But it's important that people understand the difference between what we do in the mass appraisal world in property appraiser's office versus fee appraisal. So in the case of fee appraisal, you let's say you're doing appraisal for a sale or for a purchase of a piece of property. So you have a home and you have a fee appraiser come out. They take a look at your home and they find comps. Maybe 3 comps that are within the same neighborhood, next door and what have you. And then they do the all their due diligence and they come up with a number of what they value the property as being worth. In our case, we have over 500,000 properties in Hillsborough County that we each year have to to appraise. So we have to use computer modeling and other techniques in mass appraisal. So we're actually using basically using a base rate of what a certain property is typically worth, and then adding and subtracting factors based in depreciation, other things, so that we can come up with a number. But it's a much larger scale, and it's largely computer driven, so it's very different. So the numbers can vary, and then we also have, it's obvious that when you're doing that the numbers are going to be a little bit different than if you're just looking at 2 or 3 homes. So there is a difference as far as that goes. Generally, our the value or adjusted market value that we come up with is less than what the fee appraisers come up with, and for various reasons. And people will say, and I'm asked that question all the time. Well, how does that usually correlate to what the actual worth, the property is actually worth? Some people say it's 15% less or whatever.
Let's save that one for after the break. We're coming into a hard break here, Bob. So Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County property appraiser, as well as Mark Spence, VP of Integrity Financial Services. When we come back, you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com. All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show, Rhymes Media Group. Also, we have a business growth seminar and a rooftop happy hour going on Friday, March 24th, 3 p.m. at the Hotel Zamora in St. Pete Beach. Save that date. Mark that down in your calendar. Friday, March 24th At 3 p.m., we're going to have a business growth seminar. We're going to have an action coach, Mr. Patrick Leask, is going to be there educating around the areas of business growth, the 7 principles of business growth. Also, we're going to have a digital marketing expert as well, presenting about search engine optimization, pay-per-click marketing, online digital marketing. So it's Friday, March 24th, 3 p.m. at 3701 Gulf Boulevard in St. Pete Beach. And make sure you come out and check that out. And then at 5:30, we're going upstairs to the rooftop of the Hotel Zamora. Going to have an awesome happy hour and a gratitude party with some of our partners and different folks that are associated with the brokerage, Platinum MVP Realty, and other friends of the program. So you are invited. You just got to RSVP. How do you RSVP? Reach out, 813-917-1894.
Welcome to my house.
Or you could send an email. Just submit the form at consumerqbe.com. So the form will come right through to me. All right, so we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio. This segment is brought to you by Back In Health Massage. Big shout out to Michael Vogt, my massage therapist with Back In Health Massage, helping people with neck, back, shoulder, hip, and leg pain feel better. Michael Vogt voted top 10 massage services in Tampa Bay by the readers of the Tampa Bay Business Journal's Best in the Biz Awards is Michael Vogt. We're back here in studio. We're with Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County property appraiser in the house, as well as Mark Spence, who is the VP of Integrity Financial Services, well-respected local lender here in Tampa Bay. So let's go ahead and jump right back into this great content. You know, it's a great topic when we talk about appraisals and we talk about the value changes year over year. Tampa Bay steadily increasing. Mm-hmm. Also, a big shout out to your office as well. Your office earned the prestigious CEAA Award, the Certificate of Excellence in Assessment Administration, one of only 50 appraisers' offices in the nation. Congrats on that.
Well, I appreciate it. It's actually international. And it's less than 40. I think every year a few. I think we increment it up, so it's every year a few people get that around the country and actually internationally. But we're very proud of that.
That's awesome.
The International Assessors Association, that's their highest designation. It's a very lengthy and rigorous process that you have to go through to show that the practices that you're doing in terms of appraisal, and we're very proud of it.
Very cool. Yeah, that's great. And so Mark had a great question earlier, and you were kind of finishing up the end of that. Sorry.
Yeah, just to get back to it. You know, Mark's question is well taken. More often than not, those kinds of situations happen after a downturn. So when we had the run-up right before everything, the Great Recession, as we know it now, happened. And remember, we're historians. So the appraisal, the trim notice that you receive in August from us, the subsequent tax bill is based on the value of a piece of property as of January 1st of a given year. So this year, when you receive your trim notice in August of 17 from our office, it'll actually be based on the value as it was January 1st, 2017. So it'll be, months, 3/4 of a year later.
Right.
So things can change. So let's say the value of the property was $300,000 on January 1st of a given year, and then the bottom falls out. God forbid that happens again, and all of a sudden now you lose 30-40% of the value. And what have you, people are losing their jobs, all those things. Well, so that the time the house sells or it appraises, the value's changed. And so that's important to know. It's not as normal these days, right? I'm not aware of any cases in Hillsborough County where the assessed value is higher than our fair market assessed value. What we consider that is higher than the appraised value that you'll get from a fee appraiser. It could happen. The most important thing is when those kinds of things happen is to get with our office and see if there's something that's just not right about it. And we're more, we really would like to deal with these kinds of things at an administrative level and have folks come in and talk to us about it before we get to the process where they actually file a value adjustment board petition, which we can talk about how that all works as well. But we try to work with folks every way we can.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing I would see today, like you were mentioning when we were off a minute ago, flood insurance changes. And that is going to affect things potentially unless things change again with the pricing, because flood insurance prices are really starting to skyrocket again. And luckily we have some private insurance companies that are coming in the market that we can talk about. But that's definitely something that could affect value.
Right. There could be factors like that are happening contemporaneous to those appraisals that are taking place in the marketplace that we won't necessarily, we're not going to chase those. We're not allowed to do that or kind of assume certain things. Now, over the course of time, if we find an area that happens to be, waterfront property and there's some factor there and we kind of figure it out, sometimes we'll find that there's something like that. So perhaps then the consumers are saying, well, then I'm not going to pay that extra $50,000 because I'm factoring in the amount extra that I'm going to have to pay because of flood insurance changes or something else. So that's sort of what happens. But again, those are in the moment at that day where when you're doing fee appraisal, you're doing the value as of the day that you're doing the appraisal versus we're doing it as of a given day, which you have to in a mass appraisal to try to equalize everything, the mass appraisal world.
And that's another issue kind of leading into, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're in studio here with iHeartRadio. We're your #1 consumer advocate program here in Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region of Florida, Monday through Friday. We're your 8 a.m. prime time drive time on 1250 WINS, WHNZ. Also syndicated on Sunday mornings on an FM station as well. Now, another issue, kind of mentioned the word flood. You know, the NFIP program, I think it's set due to reset at some point in the future. And Mark, also, you know, open-ended question to you guys, you know, here is you know, how do you see the flood insurance particularly playing out with mortgage lending as well as, you know, values?
Well, I'll let Mark will probably see it before we will. Again, the important thing for people to understand in our world is that we track those kinds of things. And a couple of years ago, when this all started to bubble up, we actually got with Pam DeBove at the time, who was the property appraiser over in Pinellas County. We mapped out all of the waterfront property we have that may be affected by this in Hillsborough, and started to sort of track for those properties to see if we started to see the effect. Now, you know, a lot of the stuff the Congress kind of kicked things down the road a bit, and I guess they still have the option to continue to do that. They seem very good at that these days.
Yeah, right.
But we can't assume the values, so we're not going to put that in as a factor. No, we track the market. And so after a course of time, again, if we start to see that there's a neighborhood or a group of properties that there's something that's affecting their values, we can kind of then figure out the commonalities. In those cases, then we can factor in things like that. I had a funny question right when I took office a few years ago. We were up in the Keystone area, up northwest part of the county, and somebody asked, "Well, how do you account for the effect of coyotes eating all of our dogs and wild and chickens and stuff at our properties?" Yeah. Well, yeah, and I had to answer that. Well, truthfully, we can't until we can actually put a finger on it and say that over the course of time, people are spending X amount less for these houses because the coyotes, you know. Yeah. You know, so I told them to go buy a Roadrunner, you know. But we, no, I didn't. But you know, I had an election at some point. But I honestly, so there could be an effect. All those kinds of things have an effect. But we wouldn't necessarily, although we are keeping track of that because it's something that we can look at over the course of time. Now, Mark, though, will see that more apt, and that's part of the reason we like to do these kinds of shows, be in touch, speak to realtors, speak to lenders, speak to people in the market, so that we have our finger on the pulse. So when people start to see these kinds of effects, I was speaking to somebody recently about that there's investor money. You know, a few years ago we had the hedge funds coming in here buying properties. It's happening again. Those kinds of things can have an effect on the market, and it's important for us to be aware of those things.
Sure. Yeah, Mark, any follow up to that? Or
yeah, I mean, I definitely would say that that's something to watch very closely. I mean, I don't know if it's officially affecting pricing right now, but I will tell you it's affecting buyers officially saying I'm going to hold off maybe right now on buying that property, and let me see what happens with the flood, and let me see what happens with, you know, some of the pricing changes, because Congress could come in at any time,
right?
And again, that's what your congressman will hopefully do for you.
Yeah, and hopefully I know there's some push to bring some more competition into the Florida market and what have you. Interestingly, when we mapped it out in Hillsborough, you think of waterfront property as being, you know, on the bay, or if you're in Pinellas County, either an intercoastal waterway or on the Gulf. The vast majority, and I don't know why the number pops in my head, of something like 18,000 properties in Hillsborough County that are waterfront, but the majority of them are lakes and ponds. Yeah. And we really don't think about that here, but they would be affected in the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of lakes in the Odessa area. We're actually building, my fiance and I, building on Lake Tarpon. So real excited.
Yeah,
about,
let's talk about this fiance thing. This is new since last time I was here.
Yeah, you know, hey, what can I
say?
say?
Don't blush now.
Had to put a ring on it, like they say, right?
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate that. And And having a lot of fun with you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace, helping our small business owners win. And in studio, we've got Hillsborough County property appraiser Bob Henriquez, recently reelected. Congratulations on
Thank you,
that.
Brian. Appreciate
Also, Mark Spence, he's the VP of Integrity Financial Services, highly respected local lender. Support your local economy here in Tampa Bay, folks. Reach out to our hotline, 813-917-1894. We want to help you. We want to engage with you and help you win in any marketplace. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder, if you throw a ladder in your truck. And this segment is also brought to you by Smart Move Moving and Storage, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Hannah and her team over at Smart Move Moving and Storage. They do an excellent job with local moves here in the Tri-County area. And also the Maids Cleaning Service do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed by the Maids Cleaning Service. They are referred for a reason. Stay with us. More from our expert contributors here. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com. All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, quarterback show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty, also a former USF football player, played on the inaugural football team, University of South Florida. Real excited about a lot of the sports happening around. That's it. Charlie Strong is in. We got Coach Charlie Strong now.
He's a good man. Good man.
Yeah,
absolutely. I saw him the other day, and we chatted a little bit, and he said it was when he got back in town. He asked, he didn't realize that I was doing what I'm doing, and he said, yeah, I checked where the TC ball coach was, and I said, well, I'm coaching a new team now, and they're in good hands over there. Go see them. They've got some good players over at TC. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's football. So many positive things in Tampa Bay. You got the awesome sports. You got fine dining. You've got, of course, the local beaches and boating and fishing and sports. So, yeah, a lot of positive things happening. Real excited about the growth in Tampa Bay and a lot of momentum as well around the show. Just now 8 a.m. prime time, drive time daily. Helping a lot of people. That's the number one goal of this show is we want you to think about this show as the hub of your financial and business wheel. And each spoke extending out, representing another one of our preferred partners, over 80 show partners now that are all take time out of their busy schedules to come in to entertain and educate our listeners out there to help you live a better life, help you avoid a lot of what I call that commission breath out there, all the commission-based advice that's so prevalent in our community. This segment is brought to you by Hula Bay. It's the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, conveniently located on Tyson Avenue, right here on South Tampa, right off of West Shore, 5210 Tyson Avenue. Waterfront ambiance, excellent food, wonderful sushi. The tuna is actually shipped in every 2 days from Hawaii. And say hello to Mike Finnegan. He's the manager over there at Hula Bay. Let him know the real estate quarterback sent you for a free water with lemon. He's going to hook you up. He's going to take care of you. Just mention the quarterback. He got you. We got the connections. And also the Kipton Hotels and more. You do have a 15 to 20% off if you want to stay on a local staycation here just by mentioning the real estate quarterback code at the Hotels and more in St. Pete Beach. So let's see. We're back here in studio. We've got Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County property appraiser, right here to my right. To my left, we've got Mark Spence. He's the VP of Integrity Financial Services. So according to Zillow, you got $191,400, 11.3% year-over-year change. And the median home value in Hillsborough County, $191,400. It's up 11.3% over last year. And again, the Z word a lot of times is wrong in these valuations. But Mark, what are you seeing out there when in terms of appreciation, your appraisals coming in on some of these deals you're doing? What are you seeing in the market?
It's sometimes hard to tell you because it's all about the pocket of where the property is located. South Tampa is blowing up. I mean, values are it's crazy. The values changes. I mean, and I think it has a lot to do with, builders, and values. I mean, people just want to be there. And at the end of the day, location. Yep. South, downtown St. Pete area, everybody wants to be near downtown St. Pete on the Pinellas side. So values, you can't, if the property is there and it goes out, it's ready to go, they're gone.
Right.
But, there's some areas that we're seeing. In fact, we just did out of the last 100 appraisals that have come in our office in the last 60 days, we're 34% have come in short.
Wow.
And the average is 10 to 15,000. So that's scary to us because number one, we're not hitting purchase price. There's a lot of deals out there that are having to be renegotiated or figure out, is the appraisal bad? Is it just a fast moving market and the comps haven't caught up yet? People want to be in certain areas and they're willing to pay for it. So it's just, again, it's hard to explain, but it's pocket based for sure.
Yeah. And, there's consumer preferences and there's factors. I mean, listen, I live in the Wellswood area, close to Tampa Catholic, where I went to school and coached for all those years. And for me, it's 10 minutes each and every day, anytime. Really, 365 days out of the year, 10 minutes to get downtown. 12 minutes on a bad day to get to the stadium, get to the airport, get to the International Mall. My wife calls the mothership. I try to keep her away from there. So and I think it's reached a point now where you can go and for the same, $450,000 get a mansion, up in Odessa or something. But you're going to spend 2 hours or more of your life each and every day trying to get to an employment center. And I think that's having a real effect on folks where they're saying, I'd rather, that's what you're seeing in Tampa Heights, Seminole Heights, some of those areas there's a resurgence because the convenience of being near downtown and plus all the fun stuff and things that are going on, and the sense of place that you have living near the urban core. It's really interesting to watch.
Yeah, Tampa Heights for sure is one that, I mean, consumers are always just talking about, and the values have really, people that bought in 2011 and 12 have really made out in those areas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the urban sprawl is something that you see in a lot of different metros, and when you look at Tampa, the mayors are doing a great job attracting business here. Everybody's working collectively, cohesively, and we just had the national championship game here, and a short while we'll probably have another Super Bowl. I mean, a lot of cool things happening around the Bay Area, and of course, you look at the investment, the innovation, and investment as well with Amazon out in East County, talking about delivering product via drones and all these infrastructure. And then you've got Microsoft money, Bill Gates money flowing through downtown with Vinnick, and that grand plan that he has of multi million dollars worth of investment, billions of dollars actually investment potential with when you look at the accumulative effect. So it's really a great place to live, work, and play. We talk a lot about, and going back to a point you made earlier, Bob, with the hedge funds coming in and investing. A lot of times, what's happening, what I'm seeing is people if they put their house on the market, they don't get the money they want. They say, you know what, I'm just going to rent it. It's such a strong rental market right now. So many people got displaced with loan mods, short sales, bankruptcies, all those types of derogatories. So now, it's such a strong rental market that, so many people are buying multifamily, doing that type of a play.
Absolutely. And Brandon, as you know, we have a little one at home, and so we've kind of outgrown our house. I hesitate to say it on these shows because I get attacked by, all you guys, who's your realtor, who's your lender, who's your, but we are sort of in the same situation. Right. We have a house in Wellswood. We could sell it and frankly make once everything's said and done, a few grand that we can put towards the down payment on something new. But the reality is that I can keep it, use it as for tax purposes as well as to help pay the mortgage on the new home. So we're really kind of thinking about that. And,
sure.
And in the short term, with the rental market the way it is, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you pay money every time you buy and sell, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say the same thing scenario-wise. I mean, you're seeing that people right now, the opportunity of like those people that had those bad credit issues. Just 6 months ago, there wasn't much they could do, and there's so many new. I would call, if Brandon remembers those days of the Alt-A lending type products.
So that's why I need to talk to Mark after this is over with.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. I mean, and not the normal bank on the street's going to have that. Right. I mean, they're just not. And you have to have but there's a lot of investors, a lot of lenders that just do mortgages, want to do loans in Florida. Florida is a hot market. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to be here, wants a piece of the pie. And so when you get those investors that are buying, they're flipping properties, and there's products now for those borrowers that had bankruptcies. They can do bank statement programs again for self-employed borrowers that maybe started up a business that doesn't have any income. So there is a lot of opportunity, and it's exciting because it does help our market just get that much better and grow that much faster.
Yeah, let's do this for the listeners, Mark, because I think you hit on a great point. A lot of times people, they're out there thinking they are renting, and they're thinking about renewing that rental lease, and instead of getting into the home ownership game, starting to develop their own equity in their own real estate properties. Let's do this. Let's give the listeners out there, the viewers of our television show as well on WeBeam TV, just go ahead and raise your hand. Shoot us a text to 813-917-1894. If you'd like to be connected with Mark, we can put you in touch with him, and he's going to be able to put you in a program that's not just one of these basic cookie cutter type of programs that you get when you walk into one of the big banks on the corner. The guys that took the bailout money, all that conversation, that rant I could go on. But when you have a local lender here, you have a relationship that you're developing. They got bank statement loans, down payment assistance programs, all types of different opportunities. So 813-917-1894. That's our hotline.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
And we'd love for you to either call, leave a voicemail, and shoot us a text, 917-1894. Mark, and talk about the process a little bit. How are you going to bring them in and talk to them about their options?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing we like to do is do a consultative approach, evaluate their situation, take, first And that's what I would say to anybody looking to buy a house. Get in. Let's look at your credit report. Let's do a generic basic application. Just evaluate where you're at, what type of income you have, what are you trying to do? What are you buying, a primary residence? Are you going to be an investor and want to buy some investment property? There's cash flow analysis programs now for investors that can put down 25% and they don't need any income to verify anymore.
Yep.
So again, it's exciting. It can be a little scary because it reminds sometimes of us some of those days back in 2006 where everything was going crazy. But things are verified and there are certain things that are in place to prevent that, I think. So it's exciting though.
Yes, definitely. There's not going to be another bubble, anytime soon. At least I want to just dispel that myth. Everything's doing properly. We're growing at a consistent rate. There's no irrational, exuberant loan programs out there with you fog the mirror, you get the loan, the old joke, right? But we want to help you win. We want you to engage with this show. We're going to remind our business owners out there as well. We got a business growth seminar and a rooftop happy hour Friday the 24th at 3 p.m. at the Hotel Zamora. Save that date. The Hotel Zamora, St. Pete Beach, Friday, March 24th, 3 p.m. Save that date. We're going to have a rooftop happy hour as well at 5:30. A lot of fun. We're going to have pure content from a business coach as well as digital marketing expert. Learn how to beat your competition online. March 24th. Save the date. Friday, 3 p.m. And stay with us. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com. All right, welcome back in. Consumer Quarterback Show. Giving a shout out to Michael Lysenko. He's our safe money coach. He's a fiduciary. He's going to talk to you about the stock market, different opportunities for investments, indexed in funds that you can diversify a lot of the risk out there. Michael Lysenko, he's our safe money coach. I want to remind you, all of our expert contributors are listed on our website at consumerqb.com. Our hotline is 813-917-1894. And in studio today, we've got Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County property appraiser, as well as Mark Spence. He's the VP of Integrity Financial Services, longtime friend of the program, local lender here. Support your local economy here, folks. We want to urge you to do that. And so also, Bob, congratulations as well. You've got the new state-of-the-art website that's going to aid both real estate professionals and everyday citizens. I think that's a good part of our public service announcement here is, how can people, if they do have an issue, you want to direct them to the website?
Well, absolutely. Well, however they feel comfortable communicating with us, that's the most important thing.
Okay.
There's still folks out there that want to come down to our office and talk to a real live human being, and there's some folks out there that never want to talk to another human being the rest of their life, and who could blame them, I guess. But so one of the things that we endeavored to do was to communicate in the way that people wanted to communicate, including Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Well, I don't know about Twitter these days. It's a little out of hand, but we needed a new website. It was 16 years old. It was really behind the times, and and now really our website is considered one of the best, if not the best, property appraisers website, if not government website. Really, it's been lauded nationally. We won a Digital Government Achievement Award for our website. We also have a mobile site or app as well that goes along with that. That's really the real estate professionals love it as well. So go on there, take a look. There's a wealth of knowledge that we're trying to get out to the people. Or just give us a call, 272-6100, or come into one of our offices, either downtown or one of our branch offices, if you have a question about your property appraisal. 272-6100.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. All right, Mark, and also on that note as well, with the economy, with things looking, you've got the Trump administration in power now. What are you seeing? Are you seeing any effects affecting the mortgage rates? What do you see happening over the next 30, 40 days?
Yeah, I definitely would tell you that initially rates did go up quite a bit when Trump took office or was officially elected that night in November. But since really the beginning of the year, rates have trickled back down. The stock market is still doing obviously very, very well, which, hinders the bond market. But there's some things happening globally that are still keeping people in safe money with the bonds. And the bonds trigger our 10-year treasury, which is really our 30-year mortgage-backed security rate. So if you, want to buy, today is still an unbelievable opportunity to refinance a property with equity that you are now building every day, as, Bob is definitely clearly telling you. And on top of it, if you're buying, there's opportunity, 3% down programs. If you're a veteran, no money down, 100% financing, up to $750,000 with a minimum of 5% down. I mean, there's opportunity to buy, and rates are low. I mean, I don't want the rate police out there, but I can tell you that you're still in the low fours.
Yeah.
No, I will tell you that one of the things that we saw this year, and of course, folks that are in homesteaded properties in the state of Florida are protected by the Save Our Homes cap, which means that your taxable value can't go up more than 3%, or inflation in a given year. This past year, inflation was 2.1%, so it was higher. It's been running under 1%. It was like 0.85 the year before. So we did see a little uptick in inflation, and that may affect some people's property tax bills this year as well. So there's that little bit of caveat that we see a little bit more inflation coming back, and that's going to have some effect.
What do you mean by that when you say effect? I mean, just pricing?
Yeah, in terms of again, your taxable value can't go up if you're under the Save Our Homes cap more than 3%. Or inflation. Well, inflation's been incredibly low for a number of years now. Mm-hmm. And so I think it was 0.85%, I believe, last year. This year was 2.1%. So a person's taxable value, although their adjusted market value could go up whatever the market's telling it to do. So what people have seen, it's kind of protected. It's insulated as the market has increased, and so we've had 6.5 to 8, 9% in each given year over the last four years in terms of value going up, so that if you added all those together, you could have a 35-40% increase in property value in a given property over the course of the last 4 years. Their taxable value couldn't go up more than 3%, or inflation, and it's been lower than 3%. So it's been, their taxable value may have gone up in the same time, maybe 3.5, 4% in terms of what they're seeing actually in their tax bills. Right. This year it was 2.1%, so it's creeping up closer to that 3% again. So people it might have some effect over the course of time if the inflation continues to kind of come back.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at the value and the increase. And Mark, we talk a lot about too when you think about real estate in general. A lot of times people just kind of think about the single family homes. There's so many opportunities in real estate. You look at duplexes, triplexes, quads, opportunities for investors. You got new home construction as well booming, and just the opportunity to if you're a land bank, if you're a REIT out there, investing in land. So many different opportunities. Farming. When you think about real estate, that's why we love this. The real estate side of things here in Tampa Bay. And they're not making any more Mother Earth. That's number one. But when you see that, a lot of investor programs out there still available as well. Mark, what kind of LTVs are people looking at on investment opportunities? Let's say somebody wanted to buy a duplex or a quad even, and then I think it goes into a separate bracket when you're looking at multifamily, maybe a 16-unit apartment.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing I was going to say. When you're talking about investment property, you can do as low as even 10%, 15% down if it's a type of property. If you're into multi-unit properties, anywhere from 2 to 4 family, that's the most you can do under a residential property type loan. And anything 2 to 4, you're going to be at 25% down because it's a higher risk loan. It's investor driven. But if you're looking at a single family home and you're a buyer who just wants to buy a single family, put down 10, 15%, get an investment property loan because it's not going to be a second home vacation type property or your primary. You can get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage on it, no problem, close in 30 days. I mean, with minimal money down.
Nice. Yeah.
Brandon, one of the things to piggyback that conversation, because I think it's important for folks to know, because they're going to see this in the coming couple of years. The same way you have a Save Our Homes cap for homesteaded property, back in 2009, along with portability, there was a constitutional amendment that was passed that also capped non-homesteaded values couldn't go up more than 10% in any given year. And it was kind of forgotten because right after that there was this downturn, and so it really wasn't affecting people. Well, that sunsets January 1st, 2019. There's a constitutional amendment that's being debated now, and now it's opportune because today is the first day of the legislative session to put that back on the ballot to extend that actually into perpetuity, so that the taxable value of non-homestead or investor properties would continue to be capped at no more than 10%. I think that's a very good thing to have debated again, and obviously for investors out there, it could mean an awful lot. If not, January 1st, 2019, there's about a $35 million tax increase basically on investment property in Hillsborough County alone.
Yeah, that could be huge, and that could really be a big effect.
It would have a chilling effect, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
That could hurt people. All right, we're going into our lightning round. Top tips, things to do, things to avoid, nuggets of advice. Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser.
Well, I think the most important thing is if you have a question, and I will tell you, come August, we're going to send out our trim notice. I always ask the question when I'm out in groups and what have you, did you receive a trim notice from me? Everybody raises their hand if they own property. Well, did you read it? And then their hands all come down. And why don't they read it? Because the top of it says, "This is not a bill," which is Greek for "I don't have to read this." That's a wealth of knowledge on that piece of paper. If there's any questions at all, get with us. We'll try to work with folks as best we can. We're not in the about making revenue. We're not in the revenue business. We're about being fair and equitable. And so folks need to get with us, whether it be through our website, come and see us, let us sit down with you, explain where we came up with the number, where we're wrong. Tie goes to the taxpayer. We're going to fix things as best we can.
Nice. Just like the base runner, right?
Absolutely.
Tie goes to the base runner. All right, good. Mark Spence.
I definitely would say if you're out there looking to purchase a property, get with your lender as early as possible. Start the process. Do your initial pre-approval. Make sure your credit's good. Everybody, that has great credit, sometimes you go to the doctor and your insurance didn't cover a $50 bill that you never knew about, and suddenly there's a collection on your credit for $50, and now your score dropped 100 points, and that can affect your interest rate and a lot of different things for qualifying. So, and people have no idea, and they're too late in the game because they want to sign a contract the next day. So start the process early. If you haven't done anything and you've owned your property, look at refinancing. Take advantage. Either take some cash out and get a low interest rate, reduce maybe your monthly payment, get down to a different term, 15-year type product, eliminate tremendous amount of interest and get a low rate in the mid and low threes. It's an opportunity there too. But do it, and do it with someone local, like Brandon said. There's a lot of lenders you can speak with. You go on the internet, they look at the lowest rate or the lowest term, and half the time time it's not what it is. And
Right.
you need to sit with someone and get an evaluation and really know what your options are so you can make an educated decision on what's best for you and your family.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to thank Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser, coming in. Mark Spence, thanks for coming in, educating our listeners out there, helping them avoid a lot of the commission-based advice that's so prevalent, educating them on their portability, their homestead. And I want you to go out there and please consider committing a random act of kindness, something as simple as packing up leftover food you may have, carrying it with you to and from your commute to work, handing it to that person that you see on the side of the road that may be in need. And also 5 ways to contribute. Take 10% of your money and give it away. Become a mentor. Visit and spend time with others, a lot of nursing homes, and give to those in need and become a volunteer. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.